All right, welcome everyone to the 3D Paradigm three-part series. I am Arami Vasatras. I'm the founder of Halina Movement, teacher and creator at Girl Boss BH. So guys, this is a very special masterclass. It's so potent of a lot of info light bulbs. So I really decided to divide it into three parts. So as you can see, our first class right now, this is the part one, and then on the next week or the next Thursday, that's the part two, and then the next Thursday after that, that's the part three. Okay, so for Halina subscribers, this is a you can access this masterclass and even the upcoming masterclasses. You can access this for free. But if you're not a Halina subscriber or a Halina initiate, uh, you have to because this is a standalone master classes, so you have to pay it on and in a different fee. But for a Halina subscriber, you can access this master classes, okay? Because this master classes is actually part of the Girl Boss PH workshops, trainings, and master classes, okay? And you will know more about Girl Boss PH trainings because we will be opening very soon. We'll be opening our intensive workshops. So from there, in the Girl Boss PH, makaka-experience na kayo ng talagang workshop, like live workshop, and meron talaga tayong gagawin ng mga activity. And this workshop, guys, aside this master classes, of course, these are one of a kind. Okay, it's really one of a kind. I cannot really say that, the theme is just it's just you can get the similar theme of that trainings in other people or other coaches who or teachers who teach them. But I could really say that this is a one of a kind trainings because again, this is created with my own care, with my own magic, and these are divine downloads. So basically, I did not just create the trainings for because this is the trend. I know that this trainings would really help out my destined clients. So that's what really I'm doing is creating classes, creating these trainings, creating these master classes for my destined clients, and that's fine with me. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. Okay. What I really care about is to be talking and really serving my destined clients. That's what's really important to me. Wala nang iba. In a way, to when I do this kind of trainings and teachings. Okay. So without further ado, let's start now this masterclass. As I've said, if you want to know how did we get here, and even those question, guys, na why we try to live in competition with others. Though it's a hindi naman siya nakalahad na nagko-competition talaga tayo. But just think about this quote, the Darwinism quote na survival of the fittest. So, kailangan talaga in competition that you really have to put your A game each and every time, because kung hindi mo siya gagawin, mauunahan ka ng ibang tao, right? Parang ang nangyayari kasi is like there's only one goal that you have to attain, and there's a lot of people trying to fit into that goal. Kaya ang nangyayari, nakikipag-unahan tayo to get that goal kasi we think there's only just one goal, and then there's a lot of people, or there's a lot of there's just one slot, but there's just a lot of people competing for that one slot, right? And this feeling of lacking, like we feel lack because we think that ang mga tao sa paligid natin is they are really ascending, they're really elevating themselves, they're experiencing this beautiful luxurious lifestyle, and you also want that for yourself, and that's why you feel this insecurity. You feel that there's lacking on you. That's why you still on you felt like you're still on the survival stage, and you're trying your best to get out from that survival stage para ma-attain mo din yung na-attain ng iba. Okay, so that feeling of lacking, insecurity, and then a lot of fears, guys. Fears that kahit pa you have these beautiful ideas, you have your own creativity, you have your own insight, but it feels like it's so good in your head, but it feels like it's so hard for you to put it out. Okay, to put it out there. All right, it's because of the fear. You have a lot this fear, and then you would see like you're not enough to do it, like you're not capable enough to do those things. Parang kailangan mo pa mag-accumulate ng a lot of things. So it's like very exoteric in a way, because you try to draw out the outside, or you're trying to search outside of you for you to decide for yourself. Okay? All right? So, by understanding, by getting into that, as I've said, yung mga feelings na ganon, those thoughts, you would like to know how this paradigm works, because there's a model basically. Kaya yun nangyayari. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, it's more on the effects. Okay? It's more on the effects of this paradigm. It's more on the effects. So we must know first the cause of those things, right? You would like to know the cause. And in a Helena movement, we are here for root solutions as much as possible. We are getting into the root problem. Because if we do not go to the root problem, how will we be able to fix the problem itself? If we not go to the roots, right? And I also would like to inject lang first. Yes. When I go to life coaching, I didn't know that I will, go in this path that I'll be teaching in a way. But when I go into life coaching, and then I finally decided that I want to try, I want to go into the spirituality, because that's also a divine download for me, that I must go to spirituality. I didn't know. I'm not even sure if this is the best for me. But of course, I have to trust my own intuition in a way. Nandito na ako, nagla-life coaching na ako, right? And there's a lot of things you have to consider when you are in life coaching, because you can also do business coaching, right? So you can do, and I can do business coaching. It could also give me parang fast, quick money, kasi business coaching, it's just, you just have to have this commission and all. But I won't want that. I know it's easy money, or maybe the money is good in there, but I want to go here because my heart, my intuition tells me to go here. So that's why I've gone into spiritual coaching. And when I try to do, talking to my clients, I had this feeling that I don't want to give my clients surface level advice. Like I know it's, it's easier. It's easier to give it. But you know yourself. You know yourself within you. That advice of yours is just surface level. It's just band-aid. Putting a band-aid to a wound. Yeah, you might have quick wins. You have my quick, instant gratification, instant dopamine of, na solusyonan ko na yung problema ko, or somehow I was able to help out my client na masolusyonan yung problema niya, but I know it myself that that advice itself is just so surface level, and I don't want to do that. Kaya I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of inner work on me, on how I can be able to help my client in not a surface level way, but more on a very, very grounded, to the roots level, soul level. And this is where my conscious comes in. I know that I want only the best for my clients. And I know that I might give the advice na mahirap siya kasi nga more on the root solution siya, which is very hard. But I will rather say that instead of saying this instant gratifying surface level solution or advice. Because my conscience tells me I have to go for the root solutions. Hindi kaya ng konsensya ko. And I don't want to sleep at night na alam na nagbibigay ako ng surface level. Not just, surface level advice, but even surface level work out there. Or surface level action. And I would also put conscience into common sense. They're just similar. Conscience and common sense. Because it's just common sense. You know that your advice is just surface level, but you're still giving that advice. Because whether your intention, okay, sige, yun lang, para masayahan ka agad or matuwa ka agad yung client ko, I'll give him or her surface level para kami, both happy kami, ako, nabayaran ako in a way, or para at least marami pa akong clients na ma-serve, then, di ba, parang, it really depends on also with the intention. But I don't want to have that. It's just common sense still. Why are you giving this band-aid fixes? Right? And nakorelate ko siya dito, guys, because in this 3D paradigm, ang nangyayari sa atin is we're feeding with band-aid fixes. You may not notice that, or maybe you have noticed in a way, but I'm now verbalizing it for all of you na ang ginagawa, this model, the 3D paradigm, are giving off band-aid fixes, band-aid solutions. So that's why we still have these recurring problems, okay? And we'll still have these problems until to the end of time if we don't recognize or acknowledge na may 3D paradigm, or we are in this inside of a 3D paradigm, right? Okay? So this is very essential for us to know. As workers of light, if you really see yourself as a light worker, then we must know at least about the 3D paradigm. Where we in? What we are trying to protect in a way. Bakit natin pinoprotect this earth? Because there are also light workers out there, guys. We're not here to judge. But of course, siguro din lang, they might not know that they're still in this paradigm. Right? So, let's go over now kung anong i-discuss natin for this part 1. Alright? So, in the part 1, today, we're going to discuss the 3D. So, I've already explained a lot about the 3D, 4D, 5D, but we're going to have a refresher here, especially on this masterclass, alright? And then, the truth about authority, okay, well, this authority, um, you might already have your own perception about authority, but we're going to dissect this authority, okay? And then disconnection from your sacred feminine and the suppression of divine masculine. So you could tell here that I've also inserted an esoteric terms in a way, but this is vital for us to know, because if we really want to get out, or at least to be more, or to expand our mind about the world, about us as souls here having this um, body experience, and also we are here to grow, okay? We must know about these esoteric terms. And this esoteric sometimes has been suppressed for so long and been put out with the 3D, parang nilalagyan lang siya ng mga 3D terms. Parang again, yung sinabi ko, parang shallow na naman. Imbes na it's a very, it's part of the root solutions that could help out our root problems, but then this esoteric knowledge has been put out in a, parang kinocloth again siya in a third dimensional way to make it like a surface level. And even making us not look on that because it's bad in a way. So, 'di ba? Parang, but now we're not looking away from these terms, guys. We'll start to acknowledge that this exists. All right. Okay. In the part 2, in the next Thursday, we're going to talk the real truth about Matrix. Okay, so we will talk a lot about Matrix here, and even I'm going to show some scenes about the Matrix movie. Yes, yes. But there's a very good reason why I have to show some scenes from the Matrix, because it's really vital for us to know about what is this Matrix is. Okay. The next one is why fear is the secret weapon. I keep on talking about fears, and in the part 2, we will now dive on the fear. So you don't want to miss out the part 2, because in here, um, we will now know kung bakit ito yung pinaka-weapon nila. I haven't really discussed yet, and in this series, guys, I might not be able to discuss yet who are these people who's trying to indoctrinate this paradigm, or have structured this paradigm or this model. But let us know first the structure. Kung ano yung structure ng paradigm nito, or ano structure ng 3D paradigm, okay? And then the next is the facets of transhumanism and capitalism and all of the ism in the world. Okay? And then next is part 3. Okay, again, this part 3, all of these parts, guys, is very, very loaded with info light bulbs. So we're going to talk about scientism. What is that scientism? What is that? Money spell, the religions. Yes, guys, a lot of religions, and it's not just the religion that you know about. Okay, so better watch out for this one. What are these religions? And then how to find the exit. So in the part 3, we're going to talk about on the basically how we can really get out from this. Okay, all right. So let's move forward now. So let's try to explain the 3D. Okay. So just to give you a refresher, as I've said, we're going to talk about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D. So hindi ako masyadong magdedwell sa 4D and 5D, guys. I'm just going to dwell on the 3D lang. But just to give us a very a good look on how this works, or how does it look like, we're going to talk about this 3D, 4D, 5D into consciousness. Okay, consciousness. And when we talk about consciousness, guys, just to make it very simple in a way, and to put it in a container, but it's easy for you to put it on a container. Consciousness is more of a level of experience. From the word conscious, right? Conscious, you are feeling a lot of things, like you are experiencing something, right? So that's basically the groundwork of consciousness. So in 3D, what you experience in 3D is basically what you can see on the eye level. So what you know, what you can see right now, where you are right now, that's the 3D. Your if we try to put it in a frequency beta state, that's the awakened state of yours. When you're awake, what you see when you're awake, that's the 3D. Kasi yun yung nakikita mo, right? The physical, the material one. All right? And I also want to, before ko din makalimutan, I also want to talk about this, the 3D realm, or the physical plane, because it gets a lot of, in a way, hate that they don't want to stay on 3D. It's very disgusting in a way, because because of this paradigm. It's understandable, because if you would really understand about the paradigm, then you would know, or you would understand why people would say the 3D realm is not a good place to be in. Like, it's not good to be here. But I don't know, maybe I'm just the only one, or the first person to say this. Let's try to look at it in a bird's eye view, okay? In a third perspective. As much as possible, we must have this kind of balance thinking, okay? Balanced brain, right? So I could see 3D realm. If this paradigm is not here, or kung wala talaga yung paradigm na yan, the 3D world would be fine. Diba? Because the reason why, um, as you can also know, that why we are getting this massive awakening, you might hear a lot of people going through spiritual awakening. And when we go through a spiritual awakening, just to give a refresher, is that you are now expanding your mind to what you know. And basically that is the elevating your consciousness. So from the 3D to 4D, for example. So you're elevating a particular consciousness, okay? But then, because the reason why, then, for me, this is my own philosophy, and also the philosophies of other 5D leaders out there, na the reason why we have this great or massive awakening, it's because we can break through to this paradigm, so we can create the new earth. Okay? And this new earth that we're talking about is high vibrational, all right? Higher frequencies, and people inhabiting with higher, diba? With higher vibration, of course, higher consciousness. Okay? And we might also discover na hindi lang pala tayo ang nandito sa Earth. There might be also civilizations na makikita natin, or might come up, maybe below the ground. You'll never know. Keep an open mind. And even, diba? Or maybe you know, just keep an open mind. Maybe outside from this, what we know, the land of Earth, or the land mass of Earth, maybe there's still more lands out there that we might not know. Because just to give you ano lang din, guys, something to ponder about. What if there are more lands outside what we know of in the Earth? Because we know these continents, right? What if there are more continents? What if there are more lands? Just something to think about, guys. Because this is basically consciousness. When you elevate your consciousness, when you expand your mind, body, and soul, you're actually getting more aware that there are a lot of things that what you know before, right? And again, with this 3D realm, um, I don't wanna, I always want to give the benefit of the doubt, or it will, I always want to give chance the 3D realm, because that's why we are going through this massive awakening. We're trying to elevate our vibration, and that's the main premise of Halina movement, to raise our vibration. When we work on ourselves, then we can also raise the vibration of this earth, so we can create the new earth with high vibrational frequencies, high with higher consciousness, right? But you may also think, if okay, around me, kapag tumaas na yung consciousness, nag-high na yung frequencies and vibration and all, then that's not the 3D, na, diba? Well, it makes sense in a way, but again, I'm just giving you some, I'm just putting this divine downloads here and in a way for you to think about. Wala namang masama. That's why we are here to learn, right? Okay? So again, basically, I think I was also clear na din about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D. But also I want to emphasize lang din na, okay, now Arami, we can, it can be easier enough for us to go to 4D, or, elevating our consciousness. Kasi we now understand how the 3D works. But there's the problem, guys. Kaya nga, we have to know about this paradigm. Because when we get 3D to 4D, because the 4D is when you start to, the part where and you feel like you're in the spiritual awakening stage, right? And you start to expand your mind. Okay, all right. I'm seeing. And this is not just about you. You're seeing a lot of things. Okay, this is not just that, because I really want to emphasize that when you access beyond your five senses, or the higher faculties of your brain, which are where you can get the clairvoyance, claircognizant, clairaudience. So those higher faculty senses, you start to somehow access those higher faculties when you get to 4D. Okay? You start to access it. And of course, it takes a lot of practice, because hindi lang naman ibig sabihin that you already access it, you're not going to practice it. It's still a muscle. You have to practice it. Because when you practice those higher faculties, then it can also help you to maintain that consciousness, or even elevate you to another consciousness again, okay? Just to be clear on that. So, okay, we're now on the 4D. But then, guys, because of this paradigm, it's so hard to maintain, halimbawa lang, 4D consciousness. So that's why there's a lot of people, even though they've gone already into spiritual awakening, they can still go back to 3D. It's because of this paradigm. Okay? So that's why we must know why we keep getting back from 4D to 3D. Right? And this is part of the main premise of Halina movement, is to maintain this consciousness, to maintain this higher level consciousness, so we can also do more for this new earth, and even do more for ourselves, and also keep other light workers, whatever, how you see yourself as a worker, as workers of the light, then you can also help other people to maintain those consciousness, to maintain those higher level of consciousness, right? But then again, of this paradigm, they know how to keep us, or to bring us back to 3D consciousness, that we're just looking at things at face value. Okay? So that's why we must know about this paradigm. Because we're here for root solutions. We are looking now into the root problems. Because if we don't know the root problems, then how will we know what to fix? Right? Okay. So let's go over now to the second one, the truth about authority. All right. So what do you have in mind about authority? Okay. And for those who are in the Zoom right now, I'm going to check on your comments right after the lecture, okay? And also we're going to have a Q&A in a way. So I'm going to address all of your comments in there. So hold on to those inquiries or insights, okay? So let's go to authority. So by definition, authority is the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Okay? Again, the power or right to give orders, magbigay ng mga order or kailangan mong gawin, make decisions for others, and enforce obedience. So, kailangan mo akong sundin. And this is basically the main premise of this 3D paradigm. Authority. These people have governed us for so long, have governed this beautiful earth, and us included, under their authority. Okay? And we must understand more about authority because there might be a lot of people out there that might even they would even protect the authority. It's okay. Kailangan talaga may authority around me because this is what can make this earth in good shape, in good place. Maybe hold on to that thought for now. Okay? So I just want to emphasize here about natural law. Okay, so if you have this maybe belief on authority, if there is this authority, so basically there's a man-made law, right? Man-made laws. Because if there is someone is governing us, then there's also a law to put out as a parang this is basically what you're going to follow, right? Parang written contract that you have to follow, right? So when there's authority, then there's also a man-made laws. But you may also believe in the universal laws or the natural laws, right? The natural laws of the universe. So if you're inclined to quantum physics, quantum mechanics, in a way, science, real science, guys, then you would know that there are also laws of the universe outside from these man-made laws. Okay? And when we acknowledge that both of these laws exist, then which one? Which one are we trying to follow? Diba? And I also want to emphasize then why there's an authority. Maybe I've already explained it kanina. Why there's an authority. Because there's an authority because it serves to supposedly protect the rights of the people. Right? To keep this world in order. So, para to preserve the order, then there's also a keeper of the rights. And that's why there's this authority or people that's put in the high ranking to preserve that, to make sure that these laws are followed, that your rights are somehow preserved in a way. Okay, ito yung rights mo as a human being. But would you believe that you already have a right ever since you were born? You already have a birthright. You already have a natural law birthright. Okay? And if you acknowledge that you already have a birthright ever since you were born, then why do we have this shitty rules, this shitty man-made laws? If we know that we already have a right, right? Diba? Just come to think of it. And so you may also think that this man-made laws is somehow in direct opposition to the natural law, right? Because in the natural law, if we're just going to have a very simple premise of the natural law, or what what is your right under the natural law, is to have your own individuality, to govern yourself. You can govern yourself. There's no need for anyone to indoctrinate you. You have your own, um, you're already a governing body of your own. Okay? So there's no need for a bigger governing body to govern you, because you are already a governing body of yourself. Okay? That's the birthright. That's the right under the natural law. And nobody can ever try to get your right. They cannot even steal your right, because it's yours from the very beginning. But why do we have this authority? Na they always have the right to take our rights. So what really happens is that these man-made laws is just, again, an opposition to the universal laws. And one example of that, guys, is this authority. Okay? And authority, guys, it goes against the natural law. It really goes against. Okay? And as I've said kanina, since we already have rights ever since we are born, it is such a redundancy to even have another law to govern us. Like, alam mo na already kung ano yung gagawin mo, tapos kailangan mo na naman siyang, parang kailangan pa ng affirmation doon na itong gagawin mo. Like, it's redundant. Okay lang sana if what they're trying to put out there is the natural laws, but it's not, because of course they are trying to be the authority. They're trying to be the masters of us. And guys, when there's authority, there's also masters, right? And when there's masters, there's also slaves. Yes. When there are authority, there is the concept comes up, the masters and slaves. The one who govern other people's rights, and then those people who where their rights got taken. It's just a very simple concept. It's all there's to it. Even we don't admit it, we are under this concept, masters and slaves. So you might want to ask now yourself, am I a slave? Am I a slave in a way? Am I truly free? I know this is a hard pill to take, a hard pill to swallow. But you might want to ask yourself, are you in the master's role, or are you in the slave's role? Pick one. And also very evident that when we have, just to make it more simpler, guys, when there is an authority, there's always this order giver and order follower. Okay? And I would like to talk about moral culpability here. And when we recognize that there's an order giver and order follower, the ones who gives the orders and the ones who follow the orders, you may want to explore about the moral culpability, our morality here. Where do we put our morality as human beings? As beings who have already a right ever since he or she is born, but still got indoctrinated in this man-made laws. Para daw ma-preserve yung right, ma-preserve yung order of this world. And moral culpability, guys, this is the determination of who is ultimately at fault or deserving of blame. And I want to insert here yung sinabi ko kanina. Hold on. I want to insert here the part na kailangan naman talaga ng merong mag-govern sa atin. Like for example, yes, government, maybe the police, the military in a way, the president, and okay, I know we're getting political here, but I'm just giving all the the concept basically, just to make it very simpler. Okay, again, open mind. Have your open mind on this one, because we're going to full circle here as much as possible. We're looking at it in a bird's eye view. We're not just trying to, okay, judge it and then leave it. But we are here to really look at every angles if we really want to, elevate our consciousness, or to get rid of the band-aid fixes and do the root solutions instead. Okay? So, when knowing this moral culpability, kung sino yung may dapat sisihin, or dapat daw magkaroon ng, or siya yung talagang may bigger sin in a way. So I would love to ask you guys, who among these two has the more moral culpability? More. Okay, more culpability. Ibig sabihin yung may mas siya yung, you could say, going against the natural law. Because most of the time, the order giver would really give the man-made laws, right? Of course, there's an authority. So why would that order giver give his or her order followers with a natural law? It doesn't make sense, because in natural laws, authority doesn't exist. Right? So again, who has the more moral culpability here? Is it the order giver or the order follower? This one, guys. This one. This is the order follower has the moral culpability than the order giver, because the order giver just gives the instruction. This is what you're going to do. It's more on just on the thoughts. But then the order follower is the one who's taking the action, who's doing the dirty work. And people would say, sinunod ko lang yung utos, kaya ito nangyari. Just for example, wars. In a war, so syempre, there will be a chief in command, and he or she will be the one who will give the orders, but the men or women on the field will be the one who's going to execute the orders. So he who was now more the bigger, you could say, who's really going against the natural law here, or really at fault. It's always the order follower, because they're the ones who executed the action. Because it's not only on the thoughts, but also on the action part. Diba? We don't say that yung wala talagang culpability yung yung order giver, but mas mabigat lang talaga kung ginawa, right? Kasi that's the physical representation right now, or the physical manifestation right now, that you're doing this. You're putting it on the material plane. You're putting it on the reality. That's why we have this 3D realm, for us to experience the physical, the material. And once you do this on the material plane, and you know that's going against the natural laws, then it's a really huge karmic. You really had gone through a karmic lesson there. A karmic death, maybe. Right? So these order givers, and even the ones who created this paradigm, since they know also about the natural laws, they also trying to lessen their karma. They have lessened it. Kasi nag-utos lang naman sila. Pero yung, sinudod mo naman eh. 'Di ba? Kaya pa sinabi ko, you still have the free will to choose to do it or not. But again, sometimes people would say, wala silang choice. Because again, we are still in this paradigm, guys. Not mentioning that we are still in the paradigm. So it feels like we don't have a choice but to follow, to obey. Okay? So, going forward now, let's talk about this disconnection from the sacred feminine and the suppression of divine masculine. Okay? Because this is like, this is also why we are so inclined to be in this consciousness. Like we feel like it's hard for us to get out from here. So that's why we must know what are the basis kung bakit tayo nahihirapan to going out from this authority, and basically the 3D consciousness in a way. Okay? And they have to do this, guys. These people who try to create this paradigm, they have to do this. Because since they know how the natural law works, they have to do this para yung tao will seems like have no choice but to follow them. Okay? This is the very gist kung bakit may ganito. So, let's go with the disconnection from the sacred feminine. And you might also heard about if kung left brain ka ba or right brain. And we have this personality test, guys, that we have this personality test na para masasabi kung more left brain dominant ka ba or right brain dominant. And this is now the problem. Because if we only have one part of the brain to be dominant, then we're actually creating holes or creating imbalances on our other part of the brain. So whether you are left brain dominant or right brain dominant, so whichever the one is not the, or yung parang the lesser dominant one, or parang hindi mo siya masyadong ginagamit in a way, it will have imbalances. And that is a definite thing. Because if there's an imbalance on the other side of the brain, whichever that one, it's so easy for you to be indoctrinated. It's easy for you to be programmed. It's so easy for you to feel that you are stuck in a specific situation or a specific place. Right? Because dapat sana we must have this balance of both. Okay? And just to make it very simple, the right part of the brain, that is the sacred feminine, and then the left part of the brain, that's the divine masculine or the sacred masculine. Okay? Again, the left part of the brain, that's the sacred masculine, and then the right part of the brain, that's the sacred feminine. And then the sacred feminine, guys, that's where intuition lies, or that's where the intuition resides. And when we say there's a disconnection from your sacred feminine, so there's a disconnection with your intuition. And when your intuition is blocked, then you will now live in this on earth without using your intuition, without using your own essence, your own individuality. Because when you don't have your own individuality, you will be easily programmed to be part of the herd, to be part of the norm, to be part of the the normal that this society would like to shape, the normal, how the normal would look like for them. Okay? If you're disconnected with your intuition, it's so hard for you to showcase your individuality, even who you really are. And they know why they have to disconnect this, because kapag wala kang individuality, you will not even rebel in a way, right? You will not even question. You will not try to question. You will not even try to think if the order na sinasabi nila or even the rules that you have indoctrinated to you is okay ba talaga siya or hindi. You will not even try to question. Kasi sasabihin mo na lang, ito yung binigay eh. So, i-follow ko na lang. So that's why the order followers, there seems like robots. Because they are disconnected from the sacred feminine, where your intuition is. And our intuition, guys, is directed to our higher self, to our soul, to our own individuality, to who we really are. Kaya nga, there's a lot of people who have been trying to move forward in their life, not knowing they are following somebody else's roadmap. They're following somebody else's orders. They're following somebody else's path. They're not walking their own path because they are disconnected from their sacred feminine. They are disconnected from their intuition. They don't harness their intuition. Okay? And now the suppression of divine masculine. The divine masculine, guys, the left side of the brain, that's the logical one. Okay? So you could say, yeah, the very analytical, systematic. But the divine masculine acts the action. This is the action counterpart. And why would you say this is suppressed? Because this is now, as I've said, kapag imbalance ang both. Because what I've given here is both of them are imbalances. Right? So, kapag may imbalance yung right part of brain, then you are left brain dominant, right? So, kung left brain dominant ka, you're just more on doing or doing things without even thinking, or even without even trying to ask for yourself if this is who I really am. Is this what I really want? You just do it, okay? You just keep on doing it. Kaya nga, kapag left brain, like more on doing things fast, quick. Because that's where the divine masculine is. It's more on action, doing things, putting it in the material plane, actions. Right? But since you are disconnected from your intuition, then you're not. You're doing things without harnessing your intuition. Okay? Para kang robot in a way. Okay? And if you are right brain dominant now, so let's say you're still connected to your intuition. You have this strong intuition. But your divine masculine is suppressed or is unbalanced. Okay? Imbalance yung left brain mo, yung left part of your brain, which is your divine masculine. So if that is suppressed, then you are now more just on your thoughts, living on your thoughts, living of what if, living of what just even living in your fantasies, living in your dreams, and you're not doing anything about your dreams, right? Because if the divine masculine is suppressed, it means the action is cut off. The will is cut off to put your ideas into material plane, because there might be the fears, right? The fears that what if hindi siya mag-work? What if? Yun nga, more on the what ifs. You're living on the what ifs, right? So now you can see if this indoctrination keeps on and we just accept that it's okay for us to think that we are left brain dominant and then the right brain dominant, then we'll just keep on walking on this earth with an imbalance. Even though we try to go to awakening, but then if we don't recognize this these principles in a way, then it will be really difficult for us to get out from this 3D paradigm and even maintain a higher level of consciousness. Like you can achieve it, yeah. You might have gone to 4D for a while, but then if you don't know about this sacred feminine, if you don't know the embodiment of the sacred feminine and the embodiment of the divine masculine, then it would be easier for you to be indoctrinated again back to the 3D consciousness, right? Okay? Yeah, so I do believe it's very, very clear. So let me know in the comments what you think about that part. Okay, so we can actually delve in that more. We still have two more series, two parts to go, so we still have more chances to even talk about the sacred feminine and divine masculine, because this will come up again in the next parts. Okay, so yes, so if there's imbalances, there is a limitation of the free will. We are limited in a way. We are limited to do the things that we need to do, because if this is imbalance, if there's an imbalances of our sacred feminine and our divine masculine, then there was always, guys, limitation of the free will. And there's still a lot of layers though on the free will. Okay, but I will not discuss it more now in this masterclass. I'll give another separate class about free will. But again, if there's an imbalances, there will always be a limitation for us to move forward, okay? To move forward in this paradigm, or to move forward on earth with living in divine flow, living under the natural laws, okay? If there's a disconnection from the sacred feminine, which is the right side of the brain, where the intuition lives, where the creativity, where you can innovate, more on the nurturing, okay, emotions, creativity. And just to give you like a very ano lang naman dito, that's why it's on the sacred feminine, the creativity, because only women can give birth. Only women can give birth to a new human being, right? Just as the same principle. Sacred feminine, creativity, create. Because only the women can give birth, can create a new human being. Okay? But if this is suppressed, or I mean, if you are disconnected from your sacred feminine, from your own creativity, and even from your intuition, then you're not harnessing your intuition in a way, and also you're not living in your individuality. You're losing your aesthetic. And when you don't have the aesthetic, you're easily manipulated. You can be easily put out on the norm, on the herd, right? Para kang robot. It's so easy. You would not even question. You will not even question kung ano yung binigay sa'yo na orders or binigay sa'yo ng mga laws, these man-made laws. Because you're disconnected from your intuition. You're not trusting who you really are. And then the suppression of divine masculine again. The divine masculine acts the action. So even though you are harnessing your intuition, but the divine masculine is suppressed, is not, there's an imbalance on your left part of your brain, then it's so hard for you to generate your ideas into reality, which is, it's the most important thing in this realm, right? In this physical realm, is to put ideas into reality. Because if it's not, if it just remains on our thoughts, then what's the purpose of us being here on earth? We must have just stayed as souls, right? We must have just stayed souls na lang, para all of our ideas are still on our head. Kaya nga tayo, parang the grand experiment is to be here on earth to expand and create, create with our own individuality, with our own consciousness. not following, not just, getting indoctrinated with somebody else consciousness, because that's not how you live on divine flow under the natural laws, right? Okay, so there's always a limitation of the free will here. So um just to succinct this class, so as workers of the light, how can we fix something if we don't know what we're trying to fix in the first place, right? So if you see yourself as a true light worker, it's this is very essential for us to know what are the root problems we have and how these structures have kept us in this bubble matrix for so long, and even to make our work here on earth and even our divine purpose, our divine assignment, to have this higher vibrational results, then it's vital for us to know what we need to fix, diba? Okay, so before we go, I just want like to uh, leave you with my own quote. So we can't go to the battle and proclaim to be the light without having any idea who the real enemy is. And I've said it in the first part na, yeah, you might have, we might, there's a lot of people, or there might be a lot of light workers out there that also they're doing their best, they're doing their incredible jobs, but then it seems like parang they're still on that paradigm. They're still trapped on that paradigm because they did not know kung sino ba talaga ang we're or kung ano ang we're trying to protect. Who are we trying to protect? What we are trying to protect? What we are trying to light up? Why we have gone to this massive awakening? Para saan tong awakening na to? Bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng spiritual awakening in the first place? And this is the main premise of Halina movement, guys. I may not have said it in the preliminary videos if you're part of the Halina movement. This is one of the things, because if we want to create the new earth, then we must know how to break through to this 3D paradigm. Okay? It's our birthright. We already have our own rights. But then these people have tried to indoctrinate us with this so-called preservation of rights to give to authorize themselves to be the giver or the preserve, um the yeah, to preserve the rights of the people, wherein they don't even have that kind of privilege because they're not the creator, they're not the source, they're trying to be the masters. Okay, so this is very vital. This masterclass is, I really strongly believe this is one of the most powerful classes that you might encounter, because this will give the root, even give you an idea or clue why we are going through this such pain, why we're going through this such chaos in the world, why are these things happening, why we are so struggling with our spiritual journey, bakit mahirap. Parang parang dali lang naman siguro na mag access ng intuition, mag-meditate. But when we try to elevate our consciousness, bakit it's so hard for us to maintain that consciousness and even elevate it to another level? Parang parang bumabalik-balik na naman tayo sa 3D, to the lower frequencies, to the lower vibration. And this is why, guys, this 3D paradigm is just the structure of, or the grand scheme of all the root problems of what we are experiencing here on earth. And as souls here, it's supposedly just trying to grow and expand. Okay? So please make sure to join the part 2, guys. So that's on June 30, the next Thursday, still on 1:30 p.m. So guys, um, I will start talaga 1:30 p.m. So be sure that you are here. But don't worry if you're a Halina subscriber. I always put the replays inside the special master classes, so you can still watch this. But um, for the ones for others to get an access of this class, they have to either purchase this alone or they're going to be part of the Halina subscriber. So also you may want also to share this masterclass with other people or with your loved ones. Feel free to share it, okay? Let me know how can I be able to help you in sharing this masterclass. Let me know. We can always chat on our Telegram group. So and for our Helena subscribers, please make sure to give your insights in the Telegram group, okay? Feel free to share your insights, your takeaways about these series, and looking forward to all your comments. Thank you so much, guys, and that's it for now. Again, I am Arami Vasatras, and thank you. Bye for now.